And I think a lot of folks out there have touched on mindfulness before because there are so many different forms of training of different things that require you to really apply your focus. Like if you think of yoga, martial arts, dance, anything where you can sort of get into that flow state is you in some way touching on an element of mindfulness where you're able to cast off any of those transient, anger, emotions, things like that, and stay in an elevated mental state. And so, if you're a really great tennis player, you've been in that flow state before. You know that focus that can come over you where you can't, where you're elevated in a way that you're not normally. Well, you're touching on mindfulness from one direction, or yoga as well. That is probably a lot more similarly aligned, but like a lot of folks have come into it in various ways of their life, but maybe haven't been able to define it as mindfulness before. They've only touched, 1,000 hands on the one elephant, all defining it as something differently.
Great analogy. And that's the consciousness training the subconscious, right? So, as Bruce Lipton says, the subconscious operates at like 4 million synapses per second or whatever. The consciousness only operates at like 40, right? And, forgive me if the numbers are off, but it's something at that massive scale of a differential. And the reality is, is like we always have to use our conscious application to train our subconscious to where, like you're driving. Like you got to consciously pay attention to drive. Learning how to read, you got to consciously try and learn and understand phonics and elements of what, letters and all that stuff to learn how to read. Learning a new language, learning a skill in a job. Like it's literally the same thing. Whatever it is that you're trying to comprehend is you consciously applying your attention, which is your energy, to that thing or that condition or that element in which you're trying to then have something that you're more playing instruments, like any one of that, these musicians, like this is what they do. They are consciously practicing to which they can then, have that ability at a much more advanced level. Athletes, same thing, like the same thing. Everybody's consciously doing that to then allow the subconscious to be that is continuing to build and continuing to expand and expand and expand and expand until they're at a level in which it's completely, beyond, right? And what you put into it is what you get out of it.
This is one of those reasons why, I think we see so many articles. I just saw 2 in the same week. One that said stress and depression are linked to Alzheimer's disease. But then what is one of the great benefit, or one of the big things people are seeing huge benefits with dementia patients? It's the practice of Tai Chi, which, I mean, can you think of a more mindful, being in the present moment martial art?
And every one of these, what do they have in common? Stillness, being still, right? Finding an opportunity to be still. How many of, that's not what our society wants us to do. We got to be working. We got to be doing something. If we're not doing something, we're not achieving anything. Right. So, but what if it's the opposite, right? Like, can we give it a shot? And if you're like, oh, that doesn't make it, well, like, try it. You know what I'm saying? Like, give it a shot. You can read all these things in which it tells you the opposite of and then whatever you read, then you believe it. Right. And so, but you have the power to believe something or not believe something. So but if you spend that time, which if I wish I would have, when I first found out about meditation like 3 years ago, and I just poo-pooed it and say, oh, I'm not going to do that. Imagine imagine where I'd be now. I'm so grateful that even a year ago, I decided that I wanted to give it a shot. Right. But that, again, as we talked about, that was the gateway, the gateway for me realizing the potential that exists beyond what even most people even in these articles and these things in science today is it's it's something that you do. It has the carryover effects, but that's basically it. I feel the potential is much more than that. It is much more than that. It is a state of peacefulness and goodness, and it transforms your approach to things. It gives you almost like a tool in which you can call on. It's like I can feel it, and I can be at peace and still my feelings, and not just still your thoughts, because all of this mindfulness is talking about stilling your thoughts, right? But very rarely have I seen anything talking about stilling your feelings. right? Like, but the reality is if, and you look, many different people have talked about this and qualified this with science. Like, thought is one thing, but the feeling is really what charges it and gives it energy, right? And so, like there's a reason why emotions are called like emotions. It's like energy in motion. it's like a feeling, right? And when we're all vibrating, everything in the universe is vibrating. And so, like, when you charge it with feeling and you qualify your energy, you are qualifying it to the condition in which you have set forth and you have accepted as your truth in that moment. And so when you accept that as whatever you accept as your truth in that moment, whether it be good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is, that is how you qualified that moment. And that is the feeling you generated. Right. And so, like, it's not just mindful. And that's why, I've kind of said this a couple times, mindfulness is a starting point, because that only talks about thoughts. But the feelings are like not even like, I haven't heard anything. The feeling, the word hasn't even come up. Like, feelings are even more important than thoughts, because feelings, like, you can get a feeling and then it'll evoke thoughts, right? And it'll happen the opposite way too. Like, you'll think about things and it might seem that, but the majority is like you'll feel things before you think about things. And then to discount that or to leave that out, I think is a huge miss, but at the same time a huge opportunity for everybody to consider. At the same time, they're mindful. It's not just stilling your thoughts is the first step to be thinking about, right? We're not trying to think about too many things at once. But like, once you still your thoughts, then you can start stilling your feeling, and then finding feeling, and then finding the energy that exists that is powering your life and your conscious awareness, right? So think about feeling at the same time as, stilling your thoughts, stilling your feelings, stilling your thoughts. And, the effect is that much more impactful and that much more expansive.